Can I ask you about the hijackers? Because we were all told that there were 19 Saudis, I think.
That's right.
That did the hijackers.
They were mostly Saudis.
Okay. Yeah, maybe mostly. Under the control, ultimately, of Osama bin Laden.
That's another thing, very quickly.
Yes.
Mostly Saudis. Sabbatean Frankist. Control of Israel, not Israelis, control of Israel. Sabbatean Frankist Donma control of Saudi Arabia. No accident.
And most people don't even remember they were Saudis. They think they were Afghanis or Iraqis or whatever. But so you're saying it wasn't Saudis, it was Israelis? Who were the hijackers?
Well, that's an interesting point because there are so many anomalies about the hijacker story. If you take Mohammed Attar, he was called Mohammed Attar in America, but he was known as Mohammed El Amir, a student in Germany, an Egyptian student. And the descriptions of the personality of German El Amir and American Mohammed Attar couldn't be more different, including descriptions of their height, which seems to have several inches discrepancy. We are asked to believe, you see, that Mohammed Attar was the lead hijacker, and he was a virulent Muslim extremist, Islamic extremist of the kind of basically what's become ISIS, extremist, jihadi. I quote in the book his girlfriend in America, a lady called Amanda Keller. And she describes how she lived with Attar in the run-up to 9/11, a place I think was called the Sandpiper Apartments, in a place called Venice in Florida. And she describes, and she's a white American, seriously un-Muslim. She's girlfriend. And people at the apartments, which I quote in the book, confirmed that, yeah, they were together for a time. And she described how Mohammed Attar, Islamic extremist, was often drunk. His favorite food was pork chops. And he was a regular partaker of cocaine. And when he ran out of cocaine, because they followed him one night, they want to see where it came from, he went over to the flying school he was attending in Venice, which was a drug operation, by the way, involving the CIA. Venice Airport was a notorious conduit for drugs coming out of South America, etc. At that time, whether today, I don't know. And he went into the flying school with some people and came out with an armful of cocaine, and that's what happened all the time. This is the Islamic extremist that's supposed to have given his life to the benefit of Allah. We have another hijacker called Hani Hanjour. Hani Hanjour, according to the official story, was the man who flew Flight 77 into the Pentagon, so they claim, with a maneuver in a big 757 that, as I quote in the book, professional pilots that fly 757, 767 say they could not have done, including this extraordinary spiral that he's claimed. This man, Hani Hanjour, was banned 6 weeks before 9/11 from hiring a one-engine plane because he was so useless and dangerous at flying. Where are you, CNN? Where are you, New York Times? Where are you, BBC? Still today, Brian. Yeah, Hani Hanjour, he flew the plane into the Pentagon. That's what you get. You can fly a one-engine Cessna. And this, I go through the hijackers, or many of them, and the idea that, I mean, look at the coincidences here. First of all, you are, in terms of Mohammed Attar, going to hijack Flight 11 out of Boston Logan on September the 11th, 2001. So where do you spend the night? Well, you spend the night in Boston, don't you? It's an early flight. No. He and another guy drove from Boston to Portland, Maine, and caught a commuter flight back, which was, if that commuter flight had been that morning of September the 11th, even vaguely delayed, he wouldn't have gotten Flight 11. And we're asked to believe that that's what he did. But, you know, that's the story. And people think that there is security footage, security pictures of Mohammed Attar getting onto Flight 11. No. Guess where, in a world even then, awash with cameras, especially in airports, guess an international airport at that time that had no cameras in the departure lounges? Boston Logan. They say, oh, but I saw a picture of Attar going through security. Yeah. His father says it wasn't him, but the official story is it was. That was at Portland, Maine. And he left the hotel for a 6 o'clock commuter flight to connect with Flight 11 at 33 minutes to the hour. Or actually less than that, less than half an hour before the plane took off. The person who checked him in at Portland, Maine, said he was sweating profusely and said they're running late. What, for Flight 11? He then goes through security. Just as an aside, the guy who checked him in said they were wearing jackets and ties, while the two that went through security on the picture weren't. And that's the picture that went around the world, Attar. And people think that was him getting on Flight 11. It wasn't. It was getting on the commuter plane. Now, in the middle of the picture of the security camera, alleged, the last place you would put a time code is the middle of a picture on a security camera. It said 5:45 a.m. And most of the media cropped that picture, so that's the only time code. You'll see in the book, when you show the whole picture, there's another time code at the bottom, which is exactly where you'd put a time code on a security camera, and that says 6 minutes to 6 for a flight leaving at 6 o'clock.